Welcome to Creatively by Estelle, a podcast for creative and performing artists. My name is Estelle Avberry, and I'm your host. Whether you're just starting or you're a pro, this show will help you feel inspired and motivated every single week along your creative journey, and will give you tactical tools and tips for fulfilling your creative goals and your God-given purpose as a creative person. You have gifts to give, so let's do this. Let's live creatively, and let's get into the episode. Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm so glad that you're here. Happy Monday and welcome to the start of a new week, a new month. I hope you're feeling good and excited for what's to come. Today's episode is just going to be a quick word of encouragement to you as you are wherever you are in your journey as a creative, but I know that a lot of you are just starting or really starting to focus in on being a creative and putting your all into it and starting your creative path in the performing arts, whether you're singing, you're dancing, you're acting, or any other creative path. I just want to give you this word of encouragement, something that I've been thinking about, and it's why you should get your hopes up. And this is really just a word to encourage you to remain hopeful even as you're taking action. You're taking action, maybe you're starting a dance class or you're starting to, go to voice lessons, right? Or whatever it is that you're doing. And sometimes there comes this doubt in the back of your mind, or not even the back of your mind, right? Doubt comes in, self-judgment comes in, and it's hard to really hope for the best because you're thinking of all the things that can go wrong, right? Or an audition, especially, like if you're auditioning for shows, if you're auditioning for anything, right? So, but I want to encourage you that get your hopes up, but don't get your hopes up in the wrong thing. I think that's what really trips us up, is that the reason we feel let down a lot of the time, and which is fine, it's natural, it's normal that, when you want something and you don't get it, if you don't get it, you feel disappointment. That's normal. That's understandable. But I feel like sometimes we don't want to get our hopes up because we're putting our hope in the wrong thing, and then we feel let down because we put our hope in the outcome that we wanted to happen and not putting our hope in, in God's purpose for us and what God has for us, and knowing that God's going to open the right door for us. And one of the prayers that I've been praying for myself throughout this year is that God would just open the right doors for me. Like, only the right doors would be open, because I really need that direction and that clarity for my path, especially this year. So, yes, I've been praying that prayer especially, and I think that's been really helpful to help me to know that I'm putting my hope in God and in the right path that God has for me, and I'm not putting my hope in this outcome that I want to happen, that I think is what should happen, but rather it's in something above what I can see, if that makes sense. So, for instance, I'll just do a little announcement. Right, so I'm going to be in this play that I auditioned for a few weeks back, and I got a part, and it's a play, it's a paid acting gig, and I'm so excited to be in it in this local theater company. It's so exciting. It's a Shakespeare play, and I can't wait to share more about it. I'll definitely be sharing more behind the scenes on my Instagram and my TikTok especially, so you can follow me there. But even before I went into it, and I had prepared a monologue. The monologue was optional, but I prepared it anyway, and I'd been preparing a couple weeks before the audition itself. Had reached out to a friend who's an actor who knows Shakespeare, really is really good with Shakespeare, and he'd given me some advice, and it was really just I felt like I put in a lot of work into it. And so, yeah, I was really hopeful that I would get the part, but I just reminded myself real quick before I went inside the audition, because I was rushing to make sure I got there on time. But I reminded myself before I went in, that, God, you're going to open the right door for me, right? That whatever the part is that I need to play, if at all, that's the right door that's going to be open. And yes, I had faith that I would get the part, but also I knew that I wasn't putting my faith and my hope in a part itself, but I was putting my hope in the God who could give me the part, in God who could open the door, and knowing that he would open the right door for me. And thankfully I did get the part, and I got not even the part that I specifically did the monologue for, but one that is, I think, that I'm even more excited about. So that's exciting. So all that to say is, it's okay to get your hopes up. I think we a lot of times are like scared. We're definitely scared to get our hopes up because we're scared to be disappointed. But just make sure that you're getting your hopes up in the right thing. In creative work, it's really easy to be so focused on a specific outcome. We want this outcome at this time because that's the vision that we have, right, in our minds, and we love to see that picture as creatives. But I want to just encourage you not to put all of your hope in one specific outcome, but put your hope in the fact that God has given you those gifts that you're now using, and you're taking action. And as you take action, you're using those creative gifts. You're growing in the arts and the artistic gifts and the artistic talents that you have. And as you do that, I truly believe with all my heart that God is going to put you on the right path creatively. And I just encourage you to believe in Him, to put your faith in Him, especially if you're a person of faith. Like, this is a word of encouragement to you to really put your faith in God and put your hope in Him and not in a specific outcome. And yeah, just a reminder to do that. If you have any questions about what I'm talking about, you want to dig deeper into like faith, my faith background, you want to dig deeper into hoping in God and stuff like that, always feel free to DM me at Estelle Avberry on Instagram or my email. It's always in the show notes. But yeah, I just wanted to give you that encouragement because sometimes we really do, like, what's the phrase? You shoot yourself in the foot, right? By like not letting yourself have hope, and then you kind of, at least for me, I feel like that can lead to self-sabotaging because then you're like maybe not putting in as much work as you could to do as well as you would like to do in whatever the thing that you were wanting a certain outcome in, right? So maybe it's an audition, if you're not having that hope that you can actually get the part, will you put in as much work as you do if you truly are like, I really want to get the part, and I'm hoping that, God will be the one to open the right door for me, so I'm going to put in the right work. I'm going to put in as much work as I can, and I'm going to be the best that I can be and look at this as an opportunity to be creative, to work on my craft, no matter what the outcome is. And so, yeah, I think that's a great example and a great a great example of putting your faith and your hope not in the outcome itself, but in God, knowing that He will open the right door, and you can just use this opportunity, this process as an opportunity to work on your craft and to grow as an artist and as a creative. And so I just want to encourage you, have hope, get your hopes up, get your hopes up, get your hopes up. Don't be down. Don't let self-doubt and and insecurities and self-rejection hold you back from even trying in the first place, right? Truly have hope that the right doors will open at the right time for you creatively, and even if you don't get the certain outcome that you thought you would get, that's okay, because your hope wasn't in the outcome anyway, was it? No, it wasn't in the outcome. Your hope was in the fact that God's going to open the right doors for you. Your hope was in the fact that you're going to be on the right path at the right time. And so, yeah, that's just a reminder to you. I hope that encourages you as you start this week, as you start this month. What are your creative dreams, the things that you're starting to work towards this month and this week? Let me know. Go to the Performing Arts Creatives, Facebook group. The link is in the show notes as well, our Facebook community. Please come and join and let me know what are your, goals for this month, for this week. I'd love to hear from you. You can also send me a message on, again, Instagram, DM me there, or anywhere else that you find me. Honestly, all the links are in the show notes. And yeah, also, if you loved this episode and it encouraged you, please leave a review, and you can also let me know what you would like to hear about next in the review as well. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it, and I cannot wait to talk to you next week. All right, have an amazing week. See ya. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Creatively by Estelle. I hope you feel encouraged by today's episode as you start this week. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to just share this episode with a friend if you liked it, or with someone who you think this could be encouraging to. It would really help the show. Also, if you really loved this episode, if you wouldn't mind going to Apple Podcasts and leaving a review and rating this show, it would really help us reach more people through this show and grow our Creatively community. All right, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.